And it was on this morning at 2:20 a.m., December 27th of 2020, that I finished The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I just finished this maybe about, let's see, 4 minutes ago. I'm not kidding. I don't know. Honestly, the book did really well, and then it went meh, and then it did really well, and then it went meh, and then did really well, and against popular opinion, I'm pretty sure, it went meh. The ending, I feel off-put from the ending. I don't feel... Yeah, I feel about the ending right now. Maybe that's just because I just read it or something like that. But that's my current feeling. I'm placing down the book and it's bending. I feel poor book. Yeah, I really liked the plot with the armies and like the politics and then him not being king and then the massive fight. That was good. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I really don't. On Goodreads, I gave it 4 stars. I don't really know if that's what I think, but I think 4 is a pretty good way to go. I don't know. This is gonna be like the most convoluted book talk I've done. Should we just go in order? I typically just walk through these things in order. Do I have any other initial things? I will say this is the first time I've read a siege happening. Like, I mean the actual battle. This is the first time I've read a battle, literal battle with like all the arrows and stuff in years. As soon as it started, I was like, I haven't read this happen in a long time. And you know, all the arrows falling from the sky is a classic. But this is the first time in a while I've read that. And that was exciting, for sure. I don't know, I just feel off-put from the ending. So we'll just go in order, I guess. We open the book, kind of where we left off. Elend is king, and we have the crew. And we kind of just get a reminder. We meet everybody again. It turns out, hey, Strafe's army is there. And there's Strafe's army. Skip a lot. And then we come upon Breeze's arrival, where he brought Ket's army? Ket? I don't know. Brought his army so that they can do a siege, and you know, there's a bunch of politics, and I'm all for the politics. Honestly, the politics was one of my favorite parts of this book, was the politics, which is against popular opinion, apparently. But I was all for the politics. That was actually fun. So, you know, politicking. And then there's this side plot with the Watcher. And at first, the Watcher was the Watcher. You know, he's like that mysterious character, and you're like, squint, and you squint off in the distance. It's one of those characters. And then it was during the scene where they were dueling on top of whichever keep it is that has all the spires. That scene was the scene where I started to not like that plot. And I wonder why. So, during that scene, the character's name is Zane. If you've read this book, you probably know where I'm going with all this. Zane and Vin are fighting on top of the thing. And at one point, Zane, we'd already been in his head once by this point and stuff like that, I think. I think we'd been in his head once. And he like tried to poison Strafe. Yeah, that thing. So they're fighting, and Zane like grabs her shoulders and like pulls her like all the way against him, and like face, like nose to nose, is like, you don't belong with them. it was during that scene that I was like, I really hope that this doesn't become like a I'm better than Ellen thing. And that is what it did become. And I honestly dismissed it at the time because I honestly was like, I trust Sanderson wouldn't do that. Everybody speaks godly about Sanderson, which obviously I'm just reading Mistborn, so it's not like I would know anything. But that is exactly what happened. It went straight. It didn't go directly into it, but in the end, it's what it became. It became Ellen versus Zane. Who's better? Zane actually kissed Vin. That happened. No. 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 I don't really have to get into that. Just no. I'm not really going to talk about any of the other Zane stuff with 2 exceptions, but in general, Zane, no. Vin, I felt like he just went directly against everything Vin's character was. From the beginning, Vin has been distrustful. That's kind of part of who she is. She was even distrustful of her friends in this book. She was clearly distrustful of a lot of people still. And then all of a sudden, she's trusting of someone for no reason. And you can say it's because he's Mistborn, you can say whatever. I think that there really isn't a reason. So I thought it kind of went against her character. It's not the only time she goes against her character in this book. And I think that might be part of why I'm like off balance. But that's the big one. No Zane. But more politics. There's a lot of politics happening. There's a lot of fun politics. Ket comes in. Assassins. Zin bursts heads. I gotta say, the violence in this was good. There was plenty of violence. Though I felt like it's almost as if Sanderson pulls back after he does one big, oh god, what's the word? Violent scene. You know, he does like one big violent action and he pulls back, I feel. That might not just be me. And I felt like he also weakened some of the points where he could have been brutal. And that might be like a balancing of audience thing or whatever. It's not like I would know. But yeah. But there were times where Vin was brutal. I think bursting the thug's head open with her head. Just like... that was fun. I don't want to give the wrong impression here, but I was going to say that's fun to read. It was, you know, it was like a reminder. Maybe. I don't know. So, that happened. I liked some of the plot turns, too. Ket coming in and being like, I will be king. I didn't see that coming. That was pretty good. And obviously there's other turns. A lot of things are coming to my mind right now because, you know, it's 2:30 in the morning. I need to stop finishing books in the morning. I'm sorry. Habit. I think I finished Battleground at like midnight, so you know there's that at least. I try. Anyway, plot turns. What are other plot turns that occurred that I enjoyed? I liked that Tensoon was actually Orsor. Oh no, I forgot to pronounce it. Sir. Orsor? I don't remember. Frick. Hold on. It's that one. Maybe it's not. Hold on. Bear with me here. That's how I spell the word pronouns. There we go. December 25th. Oh, there it is. December 23rd is when I did it. Or-a-sir. Yeah, it's Orsor. Alright. Tensoon is Orsor. I thought that was a good plot twist. It was one of those things where it was well done. You know, I was less like, and more like, that was well done. I liked that that's what they did. You know, I felt like too many plots laid low for too long. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't want to say that he had too many plots going on, because I don't think that's what it is. It might be, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just, here's a plot, here's a little tiny bit of the plot, and then it'll lay low, and then this plot will come up, and it'll lay low, and then this plot will come up, and then they'll all lay low for a while, and then one of the first ones will come up again. And there's just these long pauses. And, you know, every time the pause is over, he has to remind you of it. And every reminder is super, super, super blunt and purposeful. And so it's like, he's reminding me this for a reason, and something's about to happen because of it. It was very evident that that's what he was doing. And due to my background as a mystery reader, I'm not a fantasy reader, I'm a mystery reader, I don't really like it. It's like a little tiny itch. It doesn't actually like bother me, but it's a little itch when authors are that obvious, you know? It's just a lot of like, be quiet about it, be subtle. I like it when authors are subtle. But yeah, it's those plots, they just like lay low for so long. Like, we have a Kandra in our midst. Let's worry about Ellen's politics. I personally think, especially with the amount of time that passed in the book, there's a lot of time that passes, that a lot of those plots could have been resolved a lot sooner. And if you, let's say we're in the world of Mistborn, okay? Bear with me here. If we're in the world of Mistborn, and we learn there's a Kandra that invaded our ranks and could be spying for, okay, I'll get to that in a second, Ketset, however you pronounce it, and Straff. I keep wanting to say Strafe because it's like an eternal joke. I don't know which it is, but we're going to say Straff because that's probably right. I don't know. Anyway, we have a Kandra that's probably spying for one of these people. We should probably get rid of that immediately. Elend is practicing his speech and stuff because he wants to convince to stay king, or he's trying to come up, say his plans or whatever, whichever thing he's doing, okay? Doesn't matter. Vin, who knows some of the ways to find out this Kandra, could have been doing this during her patrols. I would say that would be part of her patrols. She could have been doing this when Ellen was practicing his speeches rather than listening to his speech like for the 4th or 5th or 6th time, because apparently that's something she did. Or rather than talking to some of the crew members and stuff. She kind of was lazy with it, if you ask me. I felt like Vin was being lazy with finding the Kandra. Whenever she actually was looking for the Kandra, like when she was actually looking, she wasn't treating it like a super important job. At least it didn't seem like it. It seemed like it was like, alright, I'm gonna check Ham now. I'm just gonna check Ham. I think she could have checked everybody a lot sooner than she did. And she also never actually checked everybody. In fact, Breeze told us more about who it isn't than Vin did. Breeze is actually, like, confirmed over half the crew, and Vin did 2 maybes and 1 yes. Maybe 2 yeses. It's like, she was kind of like being a teenage procrastinator. I know that's a horrible way to say it, and that's just how I felt with it. Doesn't mean that that's how it was. But that's kind of how I feel about it. That I feel like that plot could have just been brought up, traveled a little ways, and then gotten rid of. I don't know about bringing it up at the very beginning. Like, we're talking very close to being in the book, and taking it all the way to part 4. That's like a month of time in the book or something like that. Maybe more, maybe less. You don't keep a traitor in your midst for that long. You don't. If you're a king, or if you're Mach or whoever, you look for that person. You usually assign someone to look. Even if they don't know the information Vin knows, there's going to be people looking. I don't know. I felt like that plot maybe was a little drawn out. And, of course, it just goes back to that subtlety thing. It's dead for a long time, and it's suddenly back. And it's gone again, and it's suddenly back. There's no flow to it. People are probably raging right now. Alright, let's go on to the next thing. I mentioned that because there was the plot twist where the Tensoon was Orser. And it was a plot twist. That was well done. It just felt dragged out. Other plot twists. You know what? I don't think it's like a plot twist, but Ellen stabbing, is it Chastes? I don't know how to pronounce anything, but stabbing his old friend? I was not seeing that coming. That was actually, I like grinned when that happened because I was like, whoa. That caught me off guard. I don't know if it's a plot twist, but it's like, ooh. Ellen is mad. And I really liked that. And then when Ellen suddenly killed God, I can't pronounce anything. Kalos? I need to ask people to write a catalog for me. That would be a good job as a YouTuber, is if some YouTuber, all they did was create a video pronouncing every single name for you. In case you don't do audiobooks. And sometimes the audiobooks are wrong. It's just a YouTuber pronouncing it how the author says it and then done. That'd be pretty useful if you ask me. Though not a lot of readers have to pronounce names, but still. Anyway, when he randomly killed one of the basically Jotun, I couldn't not look at them as Jotun. They were blue and they had red eyes. They grow weird, etc., etc. They don't they're fine with the cold. I mean, I'm sorry. It's a very typical creature description, though. He didn't go outside the box with that. He just went blue with red eyes. That is very typical, if you ask me. Bright orange with, yellow eyes. That is abnormal. Right? I've never seen anything bright orange with yellow eyes outside of, Star Trek. But Star Trek has, something of every color at some point. Because it's Star Trek. Color, combination, pattern, everything. There's also no patterns. There's a lot of things. But anyway, that was very off track and side comedy. I'm sorry. Continuing. Surprises. I'm struggling to remember this book, honestly. Seized? I didn't think Seized was going to go back to the city. That was... I mean, as soon as, I saw him seeing the thing, I was like, he's probably going to go to the city. But I didn't expect him to have the role he did. I didn't expect Twinwill to... I'm just gonna say Twinwill, and I know that's wrong. I'm fully aware that's wrong. I'm just gonna say it because I'm too... I don't know. Twinwill. I wasn't expecting her. I wasn't expecting the effect she had, for sure. And I wasn't really expecting her death, but... I mean... I didn't really have expectations for anybody's death. I chose not to set any. I wish I did the same thing for Battlegrounds. That's why I decided to do it with this book. I actively chose, I'm not going to guess who's going to die. And I didn't. I just saw who died when they died. Which didn't really change the effect that much, but yeah, I'll get there. Anyway, We talked about surprises. Ellen suddenly not king. Vin has to recover from her thing. Breeze. Oh boy. Alright. Breeze. Okay, we'll do that quick touch on Vin and Breeze really quick. Vin, Breeze, and the Breeze situation and the Vin situation, okay? I'm not really supposed to say this, but to put it bluntly, I am Vin's age as of this book. I am her exact age. And that's scary, to put it frankly, to me. Because anything that happens to Vin, him, especially Strafe's comment about making, like, abusing Vin. Things like that are uncomfortable for, I think, a very obvious reason. It doesn't have to do with me. It's just knowing that she's 7. There we go, there's my age. It's knowing that she's 17 years old. There's this intense feeling of wrongness. It's a different world. It's fantasy. Blah, 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 blah. Excuses everywhere. It still feels wrong. And I think it should feel wrong, evidently, because, you know, we're humans. But because I'm 17, I think I feel it more because it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels off. So yeah, there's that. And along the same lines, Alriane is 18. That's not how you pronounce it. She's 18 years old. That's pretty damn close, you ask me. She's like 18 or 19. I can't even begin the eye rolls with her, okay? She should not have done what she did. Bree should not have done what he did. None of that should have happened. And why it happened was dumb. And in the end, you wonder, why was this a plot line? And it returns to that again. First of all, the Alriane plotline goes hidden until Breeze is there, and then hidden until she leaves. It's another one of those ones that just lays down as like, forget about this character. Though readers like me, usually around here, and here, are like, what about Alriane? Where did Alriane go? She's gone again. Oh, she's suddenly back. You know, there are just too many things that faded too long. That's all I'm going to say there. Too many things faded too long. Anyway, she was a mess. I didn't like her. Like, at all. And I think she's a complete idiot. Evidently. I think... Is this the video to say it? Okay, I'm going to say it very quickly because it technically doesn't have to do with Mistborn. I have some very particular views on teenagers as a teenager. Alright, it's like how I look at my fellow people. And I personally do not believe in a lot of the things teenagers do. A lot of things teenagers do. Obviously, I'm friends with teenagers. Obviously, I've seen teenagers, etc., etc., etc. And there's a lot of things that they do that I'm just like, oh my god, you guys, you need to stop. You guys are idiots. But it's not like I can do anything. But anyway, there's a lot of things teenagers do that I just do not believe in. I think they're insane. Literally. I have very strong feelings towards some of the things, but I think relationships is one of those things that high schoolers should not be in, and a lot of people disagree. I'm fully aware, but I don't think high school is the time to even think about that. I really don't. I think high school is the time to, like, learn, get your grounding, and realize, hey, I'm walking right into the beginning of my life, which your life is usually based off career and how much money you make. And that's going to be a lot of the quality of your life. So I should be preparing for the quality of my life, or whatever. Again, I have very different views to a lot of people there. I've been yelled at about it before. And I mean yelled at. People have gotten angry at me. But, in short, I don't believe in teenagers relationshiping. Which is why with Ellen, I was like, Vin, No. And that's how I felt about Ellen in The Final Empire. And I still kind of feel that way with those two. It's not going to go away just because they're married. I think it helps a bit, but it's still a matter of this relationship started because Vin blindly walked into him, I guess. Yeah, it makes me feel off. Alriane went even further with it and did kind of how I feel. How a lot of people probably feel about Alriane choosing to do what she did. That's how I feel with a lot of the things teenagers do. And I feel super, super, super just with Alriane. I know it's maybe a little bit violent looking, but oof. She got on my nerves quick. Very quick. As soon as I learned she was rioting, which by the way, I learned she was rioting before she actually rioted him. Before Vin found out. Everything I found out like a minute before I read it, which was not really great on my account, but oh well. Anyway, as soon as I learned that was happening, I was just like, oh my god. And I already hated her a lot for the dress shopping scene. That alone was making me go. And then, turned out what she was doing. I'm very upset at her. And she's obviously still alive, and she's probably going to come back, and I'm fully aware. And I'm ready to be upset. And Breeze is still alive. So that is going to be a whole thing. He's still alive. Honestly, that was never resolved. Did he die? This is a horrible thing to be asking. Did he die? Okay, so I read the words, and I interpreted the words, but maybe I misinterpreted it since it never came up again. I thought it was going to come up again. He said he was going to fall asleep a while. I still don't know how I feel about the end. God. Don't pronounce these things. Yeah, Breeze is aliving. He's in shock. Aliving? Breeze is alive, he's in shock. It's exactly what I thought it was. I was just making sure it wasn't that he was, like, just in the bundle dead. He's alive. But he's, like, shocked. He's in shock. It's all leading to the ending again. Okay. I'm getting lost here, man. I'm failing horribly. Ay. Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna jump around points, but I'm gonna finish up the one I was on. The Alriane thing, fuck her. I'm just gonna put it bluntly. I hate her. I want to, like, at the very least, I want to slap her across the face very, 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 very hard. All of Vin's pewter hard. Okay, which would probably snap her neck. But I'm very angry at her. And Breeze, of course, Breeze has a part of this, evidently. Because in the end, Breeze is both being blind to his own emotions and let it happen, even though he at first said you should feel guilt. And then he was like, I'm gonna die. Which that was even taking it further. So those two, box it and chuck it out the window. No. There's a lot of no's in this, I gotta say. I think, contrary to what I just said, not about Breeze, but about Breeze's ability, Soothing. I think Soothing's interesting. I would like it to see used more and used properly. Breeze can be the one using it. Just get rid of that. Just get rid of it. Just no. I'm not going to forget it. I'm not going to forgive him. But I want to see Soothing being used. And technically, Soothing was being used on the Kandra and the Kalos. What do I think about that? It makes sense. At least the Kandra one does. The Kalos being cousins. I don't know. I didn't feel great about it. It felt a little bit too save, yay thing. Which I know that's a me opinion. And apparently I'm being told that I need to start reading Grimdark. I probably do. Yeah, I don't know about soothing the Kalos to control them. And I think part of why I feel not so great about that is that we didn't see it happen other than that one. It's like, did she run out of metal? Did she have to get more? Did she have help? You know? I felt like keeping track of the medals died a lot at the end. Like, keeping track of how much metal she had, it just went... and I also felt like there were some missed opportunities with medals, too. I do believe that. So yeah, there's that. More shocking moments. I liked when Ellen was dressed as King. I do really like that, where he was just like, I have a cape now. I really liked that. I don't really care for the dresses. I don't care. I hate dresses. I do. I think I've been in a dress maybe like 3 times for things. I can't do dresses. Other than family photos, which I'm not even going to get into that because, again, I hate dresses, but I can't. No. So dresses, don't really care about that plot. So I did like that. Obviously, I like when Ellen, like, killed his friend. On top of stabbing his friend, he also killed his friend. Just whenever Ellen was just like, I'm growing out of my habits, dead. It's pretty nice. Dox felt out of place. I really wanted to know more about Dox, and instead he got portrayed as just this very one-directional character. He's very static. He was entirely static. He was a static character. He never changed, and he just... we only saw him walking that path. We didn't see him do anything else. He wrote letters for Elend, and he despised Elend, and nobles and everything, and hated Kelsier. Most of the main crew hates Kelsier, and I'll touch on that in a second. But I really wanted to learn more about Dox. I wanted him to be the one who taught me about the politics of the world and that stuff. I mentioned that when I was reading The Final Empire, and I was told that I wouldn't get a lot, and I did not get a lot. I got more from Elend than I got from Dox. Dox, we saw just hating Elend, hating Kelsier, and hating basically most of the government around him. And now he's dead. So it's just like... meh. I was excited to learn more about Dox, but Dox ended up kind of being nothing. Well, let's go down the line really quick, and we'll end it with Kelsier. Clubs. Clubs was very interesting. I liked that Breeze actually talks to Clubs because Breeze can't soothe Clubs. I thought that was like an interesting like detail to have included. I liked it. It makes sense, you know. It's one of those things. I like how blunt and literal Clubs is. You can tell that he knows what he's talking about. Anytime he says something blunt, unless you're being super hopeful, people are just like, You know he's right. We're all gonna die. If Club says it, we probably will all die. You know? So, at the beginning, he actually, like, grew out of some things. There were moments where he wasn't blunt. I liked when Sayest... Oh, God, Sayest. I liked when Sayest proposed the artful religion to Clubs. That was interesting. You know, things like that. There's a lot more to him in this book than there was in the last book. The last book, we saw nothing. Basically nothing of him. But this book, we obviously saw more. And he's dead. I'm gonna notice a pattern here. Not much of one, though. So, you know, Clubs had some growth, had some development. It was very interesting. And I liked seeing Clubs. Spook... I still don't care for Spook. I didn't care for Spook in the first book, and I don't care for Spook in this book. That's really all I have to say there. He's probably going to be pivotal at some point. But currently, meh. Is where I stand with him. I'm just meh. Next. Who else is in the main crew? Ham. Ham is still Ham. I like how he's actually, like, playing a major role in the politics, and he's reading, and even though he's, like, philosophical, he still struggles with it. Breeze and Ham still have a very weird relationship. I think their relationship got even more confusing, especially from Breeze's perspective. It's like they don't actually even think about what they're thinking, they just do it. It's like they're making themselves say they hate each other, you know? It doesn't make sense to me. Oh, look, it's Ham again. I'm gonna hate the next hour of my life. It's as soon as he walked in the room, Breeze thought that, and I'm just like, it doesn't make sense to me. But oh well. But Ham was still interesting. He had a major role. He did a lot. He's still gonna do a lot. And even though he's like a computer arm, he did things. So I'm really happy with how Ham turned out. And he is alive. I've already mentioned Breeze. I think his powers are cool. His morals are shit. And there really isn't anything else to consider there. I like how he just constantly soothes everyone, you know, like out of habit. I think that's an interesting way to have developed him. And I liked how it's always... He's just always doing it. I liked when Vin realized that he was, like, making Elend more confident. She was like, oh, that's why he was on the team. And I do like that we realize why he was on the team. I never doubted why he was on the team, unlike Vin. I don't know why Vin ever did doubt that, but, you know, it was interesting to see why. Again, screw the morals. But in terms of the ability is cool, I think. Whew. Breeze, still alive. Who else is in the main crew? Feel like I'm missing someone. Ooh, I know I'm missing someone. We know the Condra's dead. Just kind of a shame. But, oh well. God, I'm missing someone. I know I'm missing someone. Okay, Docs, Ham, Breeze, Clubs. Who am I missing? We'll just go to Sayest, I guess, baby. I guess we'll just go to Sayest. Sayest! I was very excited to see him in the beginning. I was, like, very excited. And with his studies, that was interesting. The twin will relationship thing, again, I just don't understand relationships. It is a me thing. It is entirely me. I just don't understand it. And that is my problem. And so with the twin will and Say's relationship, I was At first it was interesting. I was like, I didn't expect this development. But I'm And then Say's got his moral dilemma at the end because of her death. And again, because I don't understand that, it was weakened to me. Obviously, Say's just like broken down and like doesn't believe anything or that stuff. It seemed like that scene was written in past tense, but part of me doubts it was written in past tense, but it sounded like it was written in past tense, so I just want to say that. But I don't know. To me, because I don't understand it, it felt like the leaps in his developments were leaps. Because I can't come up with a religion I believe in right now, and because our studies were wrong, I'm never going to believe in anything again. That doesn't connect to me. I don't see how these two, I especially don't see how that middle step led him there. I don't understand how reading that, where the religion's a lie or whatever, the Terraceman religion was a lie, and things were being changed, being used and all. I was really off put with the ending. I don't see how that led him to never believing again. You know, it seems a bit drastic. At least to me. But again, people can be drastic. So, yeah, there's that. And he was also in a particular state. So there's that too. But, yeah, that didn't make sense to me. But in terms of everything until, let's say, the middle of the fight of Luthadel, we're going to say the Battle of Luthadel. Until the middle of Battle of Luthadel, I love Sazed. He was my favorite character. He might still be, I don't really know. I don't know if anybody could be my favorite character right now. It might be Ham right now. And I know that's like a weird state to be in, but Ham might be my favorite character. I'm not happy with Vin. I'm very unhappy with Vin, in fact. Obviously not happy with Breeze. Duh. Elend, I'm still I'm always off put with Elend. I like Elend a lot of the time, but whenever it comes to favorite character, I just can't put him there. Especially with like this random development at the very end. He's an Allomancer and he didn't die. I can't say he's my favorite character. Again, Sazed broke down and he doesn't believe in anything. And the love that he had for 3 days suddenly ruined everything. I just don't understand it. I don't understand relationships. I don't understand love. I don't understand how 3 days becomes ruining someone's life. But that's me. So yeah. So it's not Sazed. I'm just going to put Ham up there for now because I don't know who else to do. Church of the Survivor was interesting. That was a interesting leading plot line. It makes a lot of sense that it happened. And I totally get, like, Vin's like, no. It's another one of those things that, like, big deal, and then went away. Big deal with the Mux, and then went away. And then Elend used it, and then it went away. And it came back in the fight of Luthadel. I didn't find much purpose to that. Hey, yeah, there's a lot of things in this book. Gotta say that. So, next up, I guess we'll just do Elend. Elend did a lot of awesome things, and I liked Elend a lot of the book. I don't know about this ending where he's now an Allomancer and he didn't die. Like, I get why it would save him. The reason the Mist did it. Etc., etc., etc. But I like most things about Elend. And I think his, like, complete, utter trust is kind of a foil to Vin. But also Vin in this book is suddenly trusting everybody because she thought that that's what Kelsier was trusting. Yeah, I don't know. Elend was good. for like most of the book, and then again it changed when they decided to marry onward. Kind of fell off to me. So again, I don't know what to say. I don't, but he was freaking amazing most of the book. I was really happy with how he turned out. And then after they got married, it just felt off-putting and weird. Love, I guess, might be the reason. I don't know. So Vin, okay. So when I called Vin an idiot in the Final Empire, I was wrong. I called Vin the Final Empire. I called Vin an idiot in the Final Empire in like 2 different cases. And one of them I was kind of being sarcastic. And one of them I was like, Vin, you can't be, no. You can't be that distrustful and stuff and then suddenly trust this guy. Oh my god, did I not know about how much that was going to be a thing in Well of Ascension. Well of Ascension, Vin, so many times I was like, Vin, you're an idiot. Vin, you're being an idiot. Vin, you're being an idiot. Even I'm not that blind, Vin. Maybe you're worrying about more things or something, but Vin. There's so many ways that she changes, and she usually changes against something. You know? And there's also all these tiny details laid about, like her earring falling into the well and stuff like that, that are just out there, and they haven't done anything. From the beginning of the book to the very end, there's been these very, very, very tiny details about Vin, and none of them have come back. None. Reen randomly came up 2.5 times in this book. I'm going to say 2.5. He came up 2.5 times in this book, and that's it. You know, it's very inconsistent, and I can get people saying that, like, the Reen thing's on purpose and some of these other things are on purpose, but it's back to that laying low for a very long time thing. And it's suddenly coming back without any flow. It's just sudden. It's like, reminder. I am clearly reminding you of something you need to remember. And then it goes away. Again, I'm not a fan of that. And that's what I feel with a lot of these little tiny Vin details. That just, it's like gold, it's like gold, it's like gold, it's like gold. But yeah, there's a lot, there's so many times in this book where I'm like, Vin, you are being dumb. You are going against your character. You're not listening to this. You're being selfish when supposedly she's supposed to be the selfless person. You know, that's kind of part of what she is. But there's just so many things. She kept changing constantly. And I guess you could say it would make sense that she changed constantly. But I feel like there was times where it was not explained and it just happened. And then all of a sudden it goes right against it. So I'm not overly happy with Vin as a character, nor in just, I'm not going against Sanderson, but I'm going to say I don't like how she was written overall. I'm sorry. So yeah, and she's badass, obviously. She's powerful all of a sudden. You know, there were some scenes where her murder was cool. And there were some where I was, like, actually tired of it. So, yeah. The whole fight at Ket's palace, I didn't care. Just because I was so upset that she was choosing to fight. That upsetness kind of ruined that fight for me. And so, you know, there's things like that that are also just getting in the way. And also Zane. Again, we don't talk about Zane. Alright, so that's Vin. So let's talk about Kelsier really quick. I was not the biggest fan of Kelsier in book 1. In fact, I never really liked Kelsier. This book, people aren't getting over Kelsier, especially Vin. Vin just isn't getting over him. And I was over him about a minute after he died. And so this constant Kelsier would have done better. Kelsier would have known what to do here. No I don't think Kelsier would have known what to do. I don't think Kelsier knew any of what he was doing. And I think, I don't know, it's another one of those itches. People keep bringing up Kelsier and saying he's the Lord and Savior. No, let's ignore the church. People keep bringing up Kelsier in a positive light. I'm not saying everybody does because, you know, you have Docs, Clubs, and Breeze. Ignoring those three, though, you have these people who are like, Kelsier would have known what to do here. No. I'm not for that. First of all, I don't think Kelsier would have known what to do. I don't think Kelsier could have done anything. I don't think Kelsier was some powerful person. In a lot of ways, I thought Kelsier was an idiot as well. Because I didn't like him. And Vin has this epitome thing where it's just like Kelsier trusted everybody. I guess. I don't really know what to say about that. But I don't know. I don't know about that. That whole Kelsier thing. It's confusing. You ask me. So, Kelsier kept being brought up again throughout the entire book. And part of me thinks he isn't going to go away. We'll see. But I'm meh. I just wanted to remind you guys that I'm very meh. I don't like Kelsier. And he's still coming up. So yeah. Vin is definitely not over him. That's for sure. Can we just say Breeze's comment on Vin and Kelsier? That was horrible. That was bad. Just saying. Not okay. Oh, continuing. Amarantha. Let's just do a really quick sidestep to Zane, Amarantha, and Straff. That, to me, all of that felt very pointless. I know it's going to come... It's not even going to come back. Okay. I guess that was just like a development that went along or whatever. I don't get anything regarding Zane. I really don't. Anything that had Zane in it, poisoning Straff through Amarantha or whatever, not poisoning, drugging. You know, all of that, I think you could just take it out. Zane is not sane. I don't think we need to be in Straff's head to know that Zane was sane. I don't think we need to be in Zane's head to hear the kill him or whatever. And I noticed, I don't know if it means anything, but this is my guess, Zane has parallels to Vin's mother. I totally get that. And you know what? I got that when I wasn't in his head. I don't think we ever needed to be in his head. I don't think we needed Straff to constantly remind us. All of that felt unnecessary to me. The drugging him felt entirely unnecessary to me. There's just a lot of those scenes. I didn't get them. Meh. It's all of that, meh. Some of it was so we can meet the general that's now the head of Straff's army. But, again, there were a lot of things that happened and then never came back. And there's some of those I'm fine with. The case in which Elend went and stabbed his friend and was like, go attack one of their houses, and then left. Obviously, that never came around. And I'm fine with that one never coming around. But I think there's a lot of things where it's like, we're going to sign a law so that this happens. And it never gets brought up again. You know, it's like you just assume it occurred. We're going to have bandits attack Set's supply. And then you never see that it had effect. You know? I'm sure that everything they did had an effect in some way. We just never heard of it. Kind of thing. So yeah, you know. The Kalos suddenly wanting money because they're more intellectual or whichever or whatever. There's a lot of things that like were mentioned and then never came back. You know, this is happening, it's not coming back. Hey, the mists are killing people, we're gonna forget about that for most of the book. That's probably gonna be my overall thing, is the balancing of plots. The balance was teetering a lot, I'll say that. And there's also a bunch of just random scenes that I'm still off with. Vin returning to the Lord Ruler's room. It didn't leave much of an impression. I remember her doing it. I remember what she was thinking. But it's another one of those things that's like, maybe it has more significance on a reread, but on a first read, without knowing Hero of Ages, meh, is what I think. Yeah, there's a bunch of things like that. A lot of my compliments about this book are in this part of the book. Minus Zane. Okay, we're just gonna forget Zane. It's just the end. I don't know why. Something about how everything came together and changed towards the end of the book. It just felt off. And that's probably going to be against popular opinion, but we'll see, I guess. That's a good transition to the end, but I want to say other stuff first, I guess. Yeah, my final comment for now shall be that the fight for Luthadel, at the beginning, I was like, yes. I was very excited for that fight. I was all for it. And I was excited. When the arrows first began falling, I had this like little nerd out moment where it's like, this is going to be awesome. And obviously I don't mean that as in like it'll be awesome that a bunch of people are dying, but it'd be awesome to read. Club's death, I think Clubs was the first one to die, was good. Dox's death, where Dox was like, fuck Kelsier, fuck everything, F this. Meh. And then everything went black, was how he died. Missed opportunity? I don't know. But, yeah. Dox was killed. And those are the two who died. You know, Breeze hid. Yeah, those are the two main deaths. And I feel like if you had to pick out the two deaths that people would feel the least about, those would be the two. Feels a little bit coincidental. Elend almost died and then he gets saved. So if you're going to look at this with a, was he being nice with the death thing, then you could say he was being nice with the deaths, but usually I like to know the series before I say stuff like that, so I'm gonna wait. But yeah, it's like all of these people, you know, I also felt like all the points where the Kalos were like pillaging, they're so generalized that it's hard to feel. He wasn't putting, Sanderson wasn't making you feel a lot when he says, hey, these Kalos, they're killing a child right now. I didn't feel strongly about when he said that. It just felt like it was just being stated. So I think with the second half of the fight, where we're seeing them inside the city, I just it felt eh. We were so focused on like the characters that the people in the background dying just went away. And I don't know how I feel about that. So, there was that. Say's becoming muscular and fighting, that was cool. Again, the twin wheel stuff confuses me. The gates are open. Straff intervening in the middle of the fight was kind of, again, I don't know. I think, I'm just gonna say it. First, a lot of the book, a great part of the book, was great. Then the end, meh. And that is what I'm gonna end with. Future of reading. Alright, because I finished Well of Ascension, which means there's one book left in the trilogy, and this book, the third book, is typically rated the best of the three. Though there is a lot of love for the first one. As much as I liked a lot of things about this book, I have to put the first one above it because it was heist, it was interesting through the entire story. The Final Empire had me the whole way. There were some points where it was weakened, but in the end, the entirety of the Final Empire feels complete to me. This book, I don't know. It felt like it just had this cut. So, we'll see if that changes. But I'm going to put this book below Final Empire. And Hero of Ages is next. However, I'm not starting it immediately. Today is the 27th of December. Yes, as I said. I need to be able to read something in the next 3 days. With work. And that is going to be hard. Now, if you look here, I have two options, okay? I have The Great Salt in the Journeyer. I would have to read pretty fast. But it's a chapter, not a book. And it's them traveling in the desert. So I'm intrigued because they're going to be journeying in a desert. That's going to be a more interesting chapter, and there won't be any hormonal teenagerness. Because that is my problem with that book right now. Anyway, Journeyer. Journeyer is about to redeem itself in the next chapter, so I'm excited to read that chapter. It's not the longest chapter I've read so far, so there's that. It's not the shortest either, but I think I could probably read it in 3 days. My other option was that I promised my friend that I would read a YA science fiction book if they read The Final Empire. And they are currently about 3/4 through The Final Empire. And I have that YA science fiction book right there on the bottom. And I was like, you know what? It's YA. I could probably read it in a day. Not to like stereotype it, but to stereotype it. I promised I would read it, so I'm gonna read it. I think I'll just do it now and get it out of the way. And then we'll come back to Journeyer. But I'm gonna open it, maybe read one chapter, which is a horrible way to go, but I'm gonna read one chapter and see how it flows. And if I think I can finish in a day or two, then I'll read it. It isn't that big. The font size is huge, so that might be what I read. Not the best book ever, gotta say, but I haven't read it yet, evidently. But it's not like a book that people are gonna make a big deal over. It's some book. So, I'm probably gonna read that in the next 3 days, or I might read The Great Salt. And then, after 3 days, it will be New Year's. And it is on New Year's Eve and New Year's, you know, that hour or so of time, that I will start Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson. Ignore me, I'm tired. Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson, the first book of Malazan. We will see how Malazan goes. My current plan with Malazan, weirdly, is probably going to be one chapter a day. which goes against a lot of what I do, but I'm gonna have school. And I think if I get in the habit of doing 1 chapter a day, then it'll flow better with school than if I just randomly read. I know that sounds weird, but it makes sense to me. So I might read 1 chapter a day. I think on the first day I might read 3 chapters because a lot of people are saying they're getting hooked on chapter 3. So New Year's Eve I might read the 3 chapters into New Year's. And then I would have started Malazan. And after Malazan, I have this break. Assuming I finish it early, before Deadhouse Gates. So, Hero of Ages can go in there, and it will probably be Hero of Ages. However, there's 2 other options. Alright, bear with me here. The first option is the first book of the Farseer trilogy, Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. There's a read-along of that series happening in January, February, and March, or January, February, March, April. There's a read-along of that trilogy happening, and so I might hop in. And that book looks super small, if you ask me. So I was like, I could read that between. So that's an option. And I could also read Empire of Silence, because there's going to be a read-along of the Sun Eater trilogy. So Empire of Silence by Rocchio. What's the first name? Christopher Rocchio. Is another book I might read because there's a read-along. That book is bigger and it is sci-fi. You can see both of them are next to Malazan. Right there. So, those are options. I'm probably going to read Hero of Ages so that way I'm done with Mistborn. Boom. And in terms of Sanderson, my next book after I finish Hero of Ages, the Mistborn trilogy, my next book would be Warbreaker, is what I decided. And a little update on the bookshelf, now that I've said the future books I'm reading. Let's just go in order. Collector's book, that was $80, that's still mine, ignore it. It has nothing to do with any of the books. The Journeyer by Gary Jennings, alright. We have Faithful and the Fallen. Wrath is on its way. Wrath is currently shipping to my house. It'll be a few weeks, but that's fine. So, Wrath is shipping. Leviathan Wakes, which is still going to be on its own. Tyrant's Throne is also on its way shipping. It should be here on Tuesday. So I'll finally have that copy of Tyrant's Throne that's tan. Because I couldn't find a tan Tyrant's Throne for a while that wasn't super expensive. So, yeah. We have the Powder Mage trilogy, the original. This is supposed to be my Mistborn trilogy. Some of the books are missing. We have Malazan, books 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to get Malazan book 4 sometime soon. We have Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio, which I got for Christmas. Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. What's next to that? Oh, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. And these books, we'll come back to those. We have The Word is Murder by Anthony Horowitz. We have Dracula by Bram Stoker. And Dune by Frank Herbert. And of course, my Butcher shelf, which is all Jim Butcher. I have every Jim Butcher book right here. Every single one. And we'll see about the Olympian Affair next year. I think I'm probably going to get the Olympian Fair on Kindle. Oh, yes, I got a Kindle for Christmas. Alright, so I now have 3 books on Kindle. I'm going to try to show it to the camera. We'll see how that goes. I'm probably going to get the Olympian Fair on Kindle, and then I'll buy it on paperback whenever it's paperback. But something tells me it's going to be hardback when it comes out. So these are the 3 Kindle books I have currently. Yes, I have Tyrant's Throne. I have Tyrant's Throne because I couldn't find a tan copy, but now I have it. But I have Grim Company by Luke Skull, and I have Guards by Terry Pratchett, which will be the first Discworld book I'll read. and I think I'll start Discworld in 2021. So, I have a Kindle, and I'll be watching those Kindle sales now. I have an eye on them. But that's interesting. I was not expecting an e-reader for Christmas, but I got one. So, very exciting. The other series I plan to start, but I don't own any copies of. I'm gonna buy Midnight Riot on Monday, on the Barnes & Noble trip. And I'll probably buy some other books. I don't know what else I'll buy yet, but I'm gonna get Midnight Riot, which is by Ben Aronovich. I don't know how to pronounce it, honestly. So, these 4 books have a lot to do with some books that are on their way. These are the UK edition of Way of Kings and of Words of Radiance. And because I have the UK edition of these 4 books, I paid a frick ton of money. I mean a lot of money. My wallet cried just a bit to buy a lot of the other UK edition books. So, in order, what I have bought: Bands of Mourning, and I didn't get Shadows of Self. I'm waiting for a sale to get Shadows of Self. So I got the other one, which is Alloy of Law. I got Bands of Mourning and Alloy of Law from Mistborn Era 2. I have Arcanium Unbounded in UK edition on its way. I have Warbreaker in UK edition on its way. And there's a 5th one. And I have Oathbringer. I have both Oathbringer books on their way. Oathbringer Part 1 and Oathbringer Part 2. And they should be the White Spine. I did research to make sure that it's the White Spine. I also checked all the heights, and all the heights are relatively close. So they should all be the same, hopefully. And so when all of those arrive, they will all match. And what I'm going to have to do to my bookshelf is turn it vertical. So if I stack all the UK editions vertical, it should be the exact height of that top shelf, I think. And so what I'm going to do when Wrath arrives is I'm going to turn all of those books that are that thickness on their side too, and that should be about the height of the shelf as well. So Journeyr, Wrath, Valor, Malice, Ruin, and Leviathan Wakes, turn all of those on their side, and that should be enough. And if I put Tyrant's Throne, Saint's Blood, Night's Shadow, Traitor's Blade, Autumn Republic, what's the name of that one? Crimson Campaign, Promise of Blood, all on their side. It should all be vertical and fill most of the shelf. So that is what I'm going to have to do. So my shelf is going to look very different when all these books arrive. Now, those books will arrive about halfway through January, maybe later, 23 days from now, approximately. So it's going to be a while, but I have all of those on their way. Other books I have on my way, if I can remember. What else do I have? I think there's only one book I haven't mentioned that is on its way in shipping, and that would be, where is it? My orders. Whatever the book after Assassin's Apprentice is. I never remember the name, I just remember the cover. Royal Assassin. I have Royal Assassin on its way here, and it'll be here on Tuesday. Along with Warbreaker. Warbreaker is the one book that gets here on Tuesday, to clarify. So, yeah, of the Sandersons. So at least I'll have Warbreaker early. There's that. So, yeah, I have a lot of books. It was a lot of money. And I will say I'm looking into buying I'm looking into buying my first Abercrombie's because I have been being told to get some grimdark for a while. And so I'm going to do that. Yeah. I think I'm probably going to start with the blade itself, but I'm going to ask some people where to start, kind of thing. I think the blade itself might be where I start, which I'm going to buy that in a set box. If I get the first Law trilogy, I'm going to buy all 3 in a set. I know that for sure. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say other than Rivers of London and Abercrombie. One other thing, I'm looking into getting, what's the name of that series? I don't remember the name of that series. I'm looking into getting Bernard Cornwell's Excalibur, Winter King, and the 3rd book. What's the 3rd book? Bear with me. Is it like God of something? Oh, I need to remember all this better. Enemy of God. I'm gonna get that trilogy so I can start on Bernard Cornwell, because I've been planning to read him for a while now too, which is historical fiction, not fantasy. But yep, this shelf in just about 5 months has become mostly fantasy, and I blame all of y'all. It used to be murder mysteries and historical fiction and nonfiction. I had a lot of nonfiction on here, and now it's all gone. What have y'all done? But yep, that's the future. I'm gonna go because it's now 3:37 a.m. so I'm gonna go to sleep. Thank you. And I swear it's 4 stars. I just kept harping on the book, but it's 4 stars. I'm just not happy at the end. Bye bye.